The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, you know my right hand is in the Bible. I speak the truth. I gotta keep it 100 in the booth. It's the Pacquiao versus Ugas Unbiased prediction / breakdown video. You know, we're not that far away from Ugas versus Pacquiao. It's kind of it is an anticlimactic fight because we were all excited, we were all gassed and just over the moon about the Errol Spence fight. It was the biggest fight of the summer, and you know the abrupt news about the Errol Spence detached retina came out, and I've been seeing that apparently they're saying it is real. So if it is real, you know, get well soon, Errol Spence. But we got a fight on Saturday, and we got to break it down because it is an interesting fight. Now, Manny Pacquiao, he's at a stage of his career now where he's 42 years old. He hasn't been in the ring in over 2 years. He was expecting the biggest test of his career since the Floyd Mayweather fight. He's not getting it now. It could be his last fight. Maybe it won't be. I don't think it will be, but maybe it will. Who knows? But he's fighting a guy, Ugas, who has come such a long way in his career. I mean, I can remember a long time ago when Ugas was like 15-3. And he had just lost to Amir Imam, and people were very, very down on his prospects as an upcoming fighter. And he was kind of he was retired for a little bit, believe it or not. Most people don't even realize that. But Ugas, Yordenis Ugas, man, he's come a long way, beating the likes of Jamal James and Brian Perella, and being the only guy to stop Ray Robinson, and then giving Sean Porter a tough fight. And really, I thought he won that fight. And but he showed in that fight that he belonged at the elite level in the welterweight division. So this is a massive opportunity in his career. You know, he's coming in as a late replacement. Manny Pacquiao even said it himself. You know, 20 years ago, I was Ugas when I fought Ledwaba. You know, many of you guys know Pacquiao fought the dangerous Ledwaba. And that was the fight that announced him to the United States public when he beat Ledwaba on short notice. And people wondered, who is this Filipino guy with the blonde highlights, you know? So it's a trap fight. I think you'd be stupid not to think that this is a trap fight for Manny Pacquiao, because it is. Now, he's obviously going to be the favorite in this fight, and he should be, because I think Manny Pacquiao, even at his advanced age, is a better fighter than Ugas. I think he hits harder than Ugas. I think footwork wise, you know, I think he has better footwork than Ugas. The only thing I could see where this fight is a problem for Manny Pacquiao is, you know, Ugas might be Cuban, but he's not your traditional Cuban boxer. Ugas is a fighter that doesn't mind getting physical, doesn't mind getting in those trenches. And I really think, and this is my opinion, I think when this fight plays out, you're going to see Ugas try to employ sort of like the Jeff Horn game plan, where he tries to maul Pacquiao, but he does it in a bit of a classier fashion, because I think he's got better skills than Jeff Horn. He's got better technical boxing skills than Jeff Horn. So I see that being the thing. And for Pacquiao, the keys to this fight are going to be obviously to, you know, make sure you control Ugas with that lateral movement and the angles. The angles and lateral movement is what's going to get Manny Pacquiao this victory. You know, this fight will be won and lost with whoever, as far as like footwork on the Pacquiao side and the Ugas side will win and lose this fight. It'll make or break this fight for both of them. You know, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing how Ugas handles a southpaw. You know, he's fought a couple of southpaws. I think Brian Perella is a southpaw, but you could argue that the best win of his career was against a southpaw fighter, and that was when he fought Ray Robinson. You know, no, Ray Robinson is not an elite welterweight, but Ray Robinson is definitely a top 30 caliber welterweight. He's a guy that, you know, has some solid amateur pedigree. He's a guy that's tall, long, lanky, and rangy. And nobody stopped him. A lot of guys have fought Ray Robinson. You know, even Kavaluskas, who just fought Virgil Ortiz, one of the most dangerous punchers in the division, he fought Ray Robinson. He didn't even stop him. So, you know, Ray Robinson's not an easy guy to look good against, let alone beat, let alone knock out and stop, which Ugas did. And the reason he was able to do that was because Ugas doesn't just throw punches like a normal Cuban fighter. You know, he might be a Cuban fighter, but he's not a Cuban fighter the same way that Guillermo Rigondeaux or Erislandy Lara are. You know, his punches they have a bit more dexterity to him. You know, he don't mind throwing punches, you know, beneath beneath the guard, around the guard, through the guard. You know, you're gonna get punches from different angles with Ugas, and he's gonna do it in a very fundamental fashion. You know, he has a Cuban trainer, in Ismael Salas, and you know, I had the honor, the privilege, and the blessing when I was in Vegas to frequent the Ismael Salas Boxing Academy numerous times. And I saw some world-class sparring. I saw Angelo Leo spar there. I saw Luis Arias spar there, and I saw Ugas himself spar. So I have an idea of what his training is like. I have an idea of what the philosophies and the game plans of Ismael Salas are, and I think he's going to be more than prepared to win this fight. You know, I think Ugas has the tools to do what Keith Thurman did in the back half of Pacquiao's last fight, which is slow the pace down and make it a boxing match. Because Keith Thurman showed in the back half of that fight, if you can slow the pace down and make it a boxing match, you can win rounds against Manny Pacquiao, and you can make him look ordinary, look old. And Ugas has the tools, he has the fundamentals to do that. Now, will he do it? That's another question in itself. You know, Manny Pacquiao, even at his advantage at 42, is incredibly fast, and the angles that he punches from are not normal. And you know, a lot of people are gonna say, well, Manny Pacquiao hasn't had time in the ring in a long time. You know, he hasn't boxed for 2 years, and I think when you have as much experience as Manny Pacquiao, when you have experience on top of experience on top of experience, you know, I think it's very difficult to lose your timing or to lose your craft in the ring. So I don't think him being out of there for 2 years was a hindrance to him. If anything, I think it helped him because his body didn't have to take any wear and tear. His body didn't have to go through camp. His body didn't have to go through any of that stuff. So I think he's gonna come to this fight fresh. I think he's gonna come into this fight rejuvenated. And I think if Ugas has any sort of problems in the first couple rounds of this fight of keeping the pace of Manny Pacquiao down, he's going to be in for a really, really tough night at the office, because Manny Pacquiao showed us in his last fight against Thurman, he can still get out to a fast start, and if you're not on your P's and Q's, you can be put on your ass quickly and swiftly. So I really think that's a possibility here for Ugas. Now, Ugas isn't a young welterweight. He's younger than Pacquiao, but he's not a young welterweight. This is a guy that is 35 years old. This is a guy that you know, he's been through the ringer. You know, Ugas has really been through the ringer. You know, he has 4 losses on his record. 3 of them are split decisions. The only guy that's outboxed and defeated Ugas without a split decision was Amir Imam, and that was a long time ago. And that kind of shows you how good of Amir Imam was at one point. The fact that he could beat Ugas like that. But you know, Manny Pacquiao, he, ever since the Marquez fight, people don't talk about this enough. Ever since Manny Pacquiao got knocked out against Juan Manuel Marquez in that 4th fight, Manny Pacquiao has mastered the art of being economical. You know, he a long time ago, he used to be a fighter that would get up into the 800, 900, 1,000 punch range. Now he don't do that. Now he's learned to throw 500 punches, 600 punches, 650 punches, 450 punches, and he's learned how to be defensively responsible while doing it, which in my humble opinion it's almost as effective as throwing the 1,000 punches. Now, obviously, you know, it's going to be hard to match the speed and the angles and the power of 2009, 2010, 2008 Manny Pacquiao. That guy was just something that we're never going to see again in boxing. But he's still just as dangerous, just in a different way. And I think in some ways he's more dangerous because he's more of a thinking fighter. He still possesses a bit of that speed. You know, we've turned down the speed ratings for Pacquiao, but the IQ rating has gone up over the years, and that doesn't get enough credit. The IQ of Manny Pacquiao, the ability to find holes to his opponent's bodies, you know, his ability to turn fighters, his ability to throw the left hand and slip under it. There's a lot of things that Manny Pacquiao does, crafty things in the ring Manny Pacquiao does that people don't talk about, and Ugas has to, by any and all means, he has to be able to go to that body. Ugas is a good body puncher. Ugas has a good jab. Ugas knows how to pivot and turn really well. You know, he got that coming from the Olympics, and he got that in his amateur career, and he's got that under the guidance of the amazing Ismael Salas and all the great work they do down there at the Salas Boxing Academy. So, is this fight harder for Pacquiao than Spence? That's the question we got to ask. And I'll be honest with you. I think it is a harder fight for Manny Pacquiao than Spence for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think Ugas has slightly better feet than Spence. I'm not going to sit here and say he's got much better footwork than Spence, but I think his feet are just a bit faster than Errol Spence, just a little bit faster than Errol Spence. So that's a plus on his side. You know, he's just as big as Spence, and he's a very big welterweight. I don't think people understand how big of a welterweight Ugas is. Ugas is a big dude. So he has that ability to be physical and rugged. That's number two. And, you know, number three, you know, the fact that he's not a big name and people are kind of overlooking him and they're just kind of getting Pacquiao the win, there has to be at least a little bit of an emotional letdown for Manny Pacquiao because the fight just isn't going to be as big as it was with Spence. It's not through any fault of his own. They're just going to be some sort of letdown. So this is a trap fight. You know, I think I'm still favoring Pacquiao. I'm still favoring Manny Pacquiao to beat Ugas, but I don't think Ugas is as tailor-made for Manny Pacquiao's style as Errol Spence. Errol Spence's style is tailor-made for Manny Pacquiao because he likes to fight in a high guard. He likes to come forward and plant his feet. And when he can't plant his feet as much, he's not as effective as a fighter. As to where Ugas, you know, he's a fighter that his punches have more dexterity on them. There's more angles. There's more nuance to the areas in which they're coming from. And that's a plus on his side. These are the kind of things you need to beat Manny Pacquiao. And Ugas is a slightly better counter puncher than Spence. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's a much harder fight than Spence. But I think stylistically, this fight is slightly harder than Errol Spence. And it wouldn't surprise me at any point in this fight if Ugas jumps out to a lead or anything like that, because I think he's got the skills and the jab to do it. But, you know, I just think Ugas has not been on this level before. We saw him somewhere close to level once against Sean Porter. I thought he boxed very well. I thought he actually had one of the better performances of his career. And that's what it's going to take in this fight against Manny Pacquiao. It's going to take the performance of Ugas' career to defeat him. He's going to have to get his respect early. He's going to have to be able to defend the straight left hand. If he can defend the straight left hand Manny Pacquiao, he could beat Manny Pacquiao. But that's a lot easier said than done because that Manny Pacquiao straight left hand, it's kind of like, you know, in basketball, the great signature moves in basketball, like the Dirk Nowitzki one-legged fadeaway, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar sky hook, you know, the James Harden Euro step, you know, the Kemba Walker step back. These are all great moves in basketball that the opponents know are going to be coming down the other side of the floor. And these players have executed all these moves at the highest of levels, which has allowed them to have great careers and makes them great players. You know, and it's the same thing with Pacquiao. You know his straight left hand is coming. You know that you have to game plan it. You know that you have to defend it. But most fighters still can't stop it. It's only been a handful of fighters that have been able to kind of neutralize that left hand. And if he does that, I'm telling you right now, if Ugas can do that one thing, he can beat Manny Pacquiao. But I just think the feet of Ugas are a bit too slow, and I'm not sure. I don't think the reflexes are sharp enough to counterpunch Manny Pacquiao enough to get his respect. So because of that, I'm gonna favor Manny Pacquiao. My prediction for the fight is a Manny Pacquiao unanimous decision. I think Ugas will have some good moments in the fight, but I think Manny Pacquiao, even at his advanced age of 42 years old, is too quick, too smart, too good, and just too experienced for Yordenis Ugas. You know, the great Barrington Levy had that one song. I'm too experienced to be taken for a stroll. I'm too experienced for the one to rock and roll. He's too experienced, man. Manny Pacquiao is too experienced for Yordenis Ugas, and I think that will ultimately be the difference in this fight. And you know, I see the straight left hand landing a lot for him. I see the in and out, the side to side movement, giving Ugas some problems, not being able to establish his range, and he's gonna take a lot of rounds off Ugas because of this. I don't think he'll stop Ugas. I don't even think he'll drop Ugas, but I do think he will do enough to hurt Ugas, get his respect, keep him at bay, and use that footwork to his advantage. So Manny Pacquiao UD is my prediction for the fight. But you guys give me yours down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think, what you guys have to say, and what kind of chance you give Ugas in this fight with Manny Pacquiao. You guys can leave your comments down below. Make sure you take the time to subscribe. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just kidding, Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.